Okay. I think it's on with the transcript. Yes, as I was saying, can everybody mute themselves? Because I hear some background noise. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to see many of you here. And I want to thank everyone for coming, and especially the farmers, because instead of working hard on the farm, you're here. So thank you for that. And I would like to know how many of you here are farmers? Could you raise your hand? Oh, we see some. Lovely. That's great, because otherwise, I don't know what we're doing here if no farmers attended. So yeah, this is nice. I hope this webinar gives you something that you can take with you. And also, I was wondering how many people here. I see some hands being raised still. Now, if you want to say something, maybe you should unmute yourself, since now we're just raising hands to answer my questions. But I guess this is no? Okay, perfect. How many of you don't know or are not involved in the project IPMWORKS? Raise your hand. Oi, that's quite a few of you. 16, 18 people. Well, this is great. It means the topic is interesting for people outside the consortium as well. Great news. Thank you. I think I'm done with the questions. And yes, so for those of you who don't know IPMWORKS, it's a Horizon 2020 project, and it's also a EU-wide farm network that demonstrates and promotes cost-effective IPM, integrated pest management strategies. And IFARM Organics Europe, this is the organization where I work, is involved as a partner, and our role is to promote organic farming and support organic farmers who are also working with the integrated pest management in the project. My name is Alba Saed. I'm a research and innovation coordinator at IFAM. And yes, and I'm here because it's one of my tasks of in the project IPMWORKS to organize webinars like this and promote knowledge exchange amongst people involved. And this webinar was initially for the arable sector, so for arable farmers, and we decided to open it to everybody because we thought the topic was very interesting and important. And as you know, we're here today because weed management is a challenge in farms. And there's a Catalan saying that proves my point, which is bad weed never dies. And bad weed means a bad person, because obviously not everybody in Catalonia are farmers. So you see how important this issue is, that even people who are not farmers use this saying. Yes, so it's especially important for sustainable or organic farms. And something that in IPM farms and organic farms have in common is that they need to put effort in preventive weed control. Yes, especially for organic farms, which cannot use chemical herbicides. And preventive weed control can come in the forms of crop rotation, cover crops, and it requires redesigning the cropping system and thinking differently. So, but yeah, anyway, I'm not a farmer, although it's my career goal. And I'm wondering if a farmer who is in this room would like to share why this topic is important. And we don't have a lot of time, so please don't be shy and just raise your hand if you would like to share, yeah, why you're here, why you think it's an interesting topic. And now I know the hand raising functionality works, so please.
Yani işte ne olacak?
Yes. Nobody wants to say anything. Okay, so we have shy farmers in the room today. Yeah, then we'll just move on to introducing the speakers for today. And well, first the agenda maybe. You probably received the agenda already, and it's pretty simple. We're going to have two speakers talking. Each one of them will give a 20 to 30-minute talk, and each talk will be followed by a Q&A session. So please, if you have questions, you can write them in the chat during the talks, and we will take them at the end of each talk. You're very welcome to also say them out loud, so by raising your hand and muting yourself. And if you have any comments, any thoughts that you would like to share, you're also welcome to express them at the end of each talk. All right, so without further ado, I will introduce our speakers. And first, we're going to start with Bo Melander, a professor at Aarhus University in Denmark with extended experience in physical, preventive, and cultural weed management in organic and conventional cropping systems. So please, Bo.
Yes, thank
Take it
you.
away.
I hope everybody can hear me. So I will move directly to my talk and share my slides with you. So boop, boop. This is the one. And here we got it. So I hope this is, you see a full screen now. I will talk about weed management in organic crops. It's a summary of all the results and experiences that we have achieved over the years. This is the outline of my talk. I will start off focusing on annual weeds in full width planted crops. And then I will say some words about perennial weeds. And finally, the last third of my talk will focus on automated weeding in row planted crops and specialty crops. Let's move to the annual weeds. Inter-row hoeing in shields and pulses with camera steering has become quite popular in recent years, at least in my country, because with the vision guided hoes, you don't need an extra person to steer the hoe, and you have the possibility to provide very effective weed control between the rows. Of course, for an inter-row hoe to work in shields and pulses, you need to extend the inter-row spacing. Typically, double row spacing is commonly used in my country, but that's enough to allow for a hoe blade to operate in the inter-row space. And I have a small video here that shows inter-row hoeing in field peas. This is on an organic farm in the southern part of Denmark. And you can see they go quite fast and they hoe regularly in the field peas. And even though that you may throw some soil into the crop row, the peas will normally recover. In conjunction with the work on inter-row hoeing in these crop types, we have also worked on improvements of the hoeing technique. We have developed a new blade, a very flat blade, to be able to operate when the crop plants are very small and cannot tolerate too much soil coverage. We have also changed the shank to make it much stiffer. With a stiff shank, the accuracy of steering becomes much better. And again, I have a small video that illustrates how it looks with this hoe blade type. which doesn't move the soil sidewards. So it means that you can use it when the crop plants are very small. However, when they develops and become bigger, you will probably like to move to a goose blade shade or a goose foot shaped blade where you allow some sidewards soil movement to achieve a ridging of the crop. There's a lot going on in high-tech solutions. This is our robot here at Flakkebjerg, the Roboti, which I think could be a solution in the future for many even organic farms where inter-row hoeing is done more or less automatically. In this case, we don't have a crop. This is just for demonstration, but it does cultivate, as you will see here in the video. The Roboti is actually available for farmers now. They can buy it and they can operate it for inter-row hoeing purposes, as well as many other tasks. But I don't think we are that far away from this kind of solutions in the future. But as I said, inter-row hoeing mainly control the weeds in the inter-row space, which is between the crop lines. That means that you're not impacting the weeds growing in the crop line, and therefore you need other measures to suppress those weeds. One way to do that is to apply banded planting, which seems to work only when you have 30 centimeters interrow spacing or more. When you get down to smaller interrow spaces, there doesn't seem to be any benefits associated with banded planting. Then we just use single line planting, as you can see here, for the 150 millimeter interrow spacing. But actually with 15 or 150 millimeters interrow spacing, it is possible now to steer an interrow hoe accurately, even at relatively high speed. Yeah, as I said, the weeds growing here in the crop line needs to be suppressed one way or the other. Maintaining the seed rate when you expand the interrow space will ensure that the crop stand become denser, and that itself will improve the suppression of the weeds. You can also consider to even further increase the seed rate to get a very dense and suppressive crop stand in the crop line. Another solution is also to combine interrow hoeing with the flex-tine weed harrowing. One of the drawbacks about the flex-tine weed harrow is that it the efficacy declines rapidly as weeds grow in size. So when weeds become bigger, if achievement of high efficacies can be quite difficult. Whereas the hoe is more, how would you say, reliable. It's still quite effective, even though that weeds have become relatively large. So another drawback about the flex-tine harrow, at least what our growers tell us, is that operating a flex-tine harrow correctly needs skillful operators. You need to be trained. You need to have a good feeling about running such a tool in order to avoid significant crop injuries, because the flex-tine harrow treats both the crops and the weeds. You will see many growers controlling weeds in the way I'm illustrating here. This is a zero crop. Most growers start up with a pre-emergent weed harrowing or a blind cultivation to try to reduce the number of weeds that may establish, especially in the crop lines. Then growers follow up with the inter-row hoeing as a post-emergence treatment. This inter-row hoeing treatment can be supplemented by weed harrowing. we have seen that this can increase the overall weeding efficacy. A strategy can then be ended by selective weed harrowing or another pass with the interrow hoe. That depends on the weed pressure and the need for weed control effectiveness. We will see many growers that only use the pre-emergence and the post-emergence treatment, uh, which in many cases provide the wanted result. You find also still many growers around that only use the Fleckstein harrow. I have to say that, and that's the growers who are very skillful, very trained in using the weed harrow. They can rely on this tool solely. However, the interrow hoe has still meant an improvement because, as I said before, the effectiveness is so much greater. So this use of the interrow hoe and the weed harrow is something we have applied consistently in a long-term organic crop rotation experiment here in Denmark, which usually has a few times 5 years rotation cycles. And we have 2 organic rotations that has been running since 1997. And the one rotation has a grass clover green manure crop, which lasts from 1 to 2 years, depending on whether it's a 4-year rotation cycle or a 5-year rotation cycle. And then we have another rotation, organic rotation, which only has annual cash crops. And the grass clover is in this case replaced by a grain legume. But I digged into the data from this experiment and extracted all the data on annual weeds. And what you will see here that especially from 2011 and onwards, we are down to a very moderate or even low weed pressure of annual weeds. And this is the period in which we have consistently applied interrow hoeing, sometimes supplemented by weed harrowing. And you can see biomasses of just 10 to 20 gram of dry matter per square meter is a very low weed pressure. And the weed biomass only composed 2 to 3% of the total biomass. So this is definitely a weed pressure that you can live with. And I would say that this is thanks to this introduction of the interrow hoeing plus the weed harrowing, I have to say as well, because the weed harrow will of course also control the weeds in the crop line since it treats the whole surface. But this was very encouraging to see these weed data from the long-term experiment. Actually, here in 2015, we took soil samples to see the status of the weed seed bank in this experiment. And surprisingly, we saw that the weed seed bank in the rotation only having green manure or having a green manure in the rotation was only half the size of the weed seed bank of the other rotation where we didn't have a green manure crop. So that's in addition to the effectiveness of the physical weed control has meant a huge decline in the weed seed bank of annual weeds. In this crop rotation experiment, we actually also had quite high infestations of quackgrass and sow thistles and Canada thistle. Well, Canada thistle, in Europe, we call it creeping thistle. That's, I think, the UK common name for this species. And quackgrass is actually cooch. But again, I extracted some data from this long-term experiment and saw clearly that the species sow thistle was not very abundant in the rotation with the green manure. I have to say in the green manure, we also applied mowing 3 to 4 times per year. On the right-hand side, you see the rotation where we didn't use a green manure. There we had more infestations with the south thistle, because we didn't have this green manure that was mown. And the mowing and the green manure means a lot in the suppression of south thistle. And the same actually was also apparent for the creeping thistle. However, the quackgrass responded somewhat differently. Here you can see the rotation with the green manure crop. We had more quackgrass, especially where we didn't have where we had the cover crop. In this rotation, we had both plots with and without cover crops. And where we had a cover crop, we had an increasing infestation level with the couch grass. And that's because the green manure itself is promoting couch grass, even though that the green manure is mown. Couch grass will benefit from such a situation. So it's completely different from the other perennials I mentioned before. But you can see with the red curve where we had no cover crop and where we have room for making mechanical weed control campaigns after the harvest of the main crop, there we were able to keep the infestation level of couch grass at a very low level. I actually have to say, when we look at all the perennial weeds in total, the rotation O2 with green manuring and with the ability to apply mechanical weed control in those crops where we didn't have a cover crop, yeah, in that case we had by far the lowest infestation level of perennials. But in the real world, you would sometimes, or you would like to have as many cover crops as possible. So it's not the best result to communicate to the organic farmers, because cover crops is important for them to capture nitrogen and to improve soil fertility. There are many benefits associated with cover crops, and therefore we have been working on a solution for especially couch control, where you only enter the field for a very short time period to try to cleanse the field from rhizomes and then go back to cover crop growing. And we have actually been working with this machinery here. This is a beach cleaner where we have tried to modify it to be able to operate in a field situation. And there is actually a company that has taken up this idea and made a version which could be relevant for the field situation. And here you can see it's uprooting. It's uprooting all the rhizomes. And the rhizomes are then exposed on the soil surface. But the company is working on mounting a tank on the rear of this tool to collect all the rhizomes and take them out of the field simply. This will also uproot taproots of dogs and dandelion and several other species. And this you should consider this idea or method as something relevant in situations where you have very high infestation levels of perennial weeds. In those cases, such a machinery could be relevant to use. And as I said, you only make it over a short duration of time. You don't need these traditional long campaigns of mechanical weed control, which prevent you from growing a cover crop. You clean the field and then you move back to cover cropping. That's the idea about this machine solution. But the main findings on perennial weeds from this work is that we definitely saw that a perennial green manure lasting 1 or 2 years with mowing, or with the possibility of mowing, suppressed creeping thistle and south thistle effectively. But we had the problem with the couch grass that it seems to increase with this crop tribe. I have to say, when I say 1 year green manure, it's actually lasting for 2 years because it's established in a spring barley crop as a ley. And when the spring barley is harvested, this ley stays in the field, and the following year it acts as a green manure, and then eventually it's plowed under in spring in the next year. So in total, it will stay in the field for 2 years actually. The next conclusion or main finding was that cover crops hindered effective cultivation campaigns against especially cootsgrass, as I said before. That's why we came up to the idea of the beach cleaner, or working with the principles of a beach cleaner. We also saw in these rotations that grain legumes and mixtures with cereals and legumes caused perennials to proliferate, especially cootsgrass. And we also introduced some summer fallowing, which was especially effective against cootsgrass. Then we are back to this periods of allowing mechanical weed control to take place. Okay, I moved to the next topic, which was about row crops and specialty crops. I think you know that a lot of organic growers, they spend a lot of time hand weeding. That's still a tedious task, and something we would like to be mechanized. And since I think the first automated weeder came up in around 2003, 4, 5, something like that. That was based on the principle that I have illustrated here. The software was based on detecting transplants, and since transplant deviated significantly from the soil surface and also the very small tiny weeds that may have come up, it was quite easy to create a binary image which the computer could work on. And so it was essentially detecting a big green spot. So it was very, the algorithm was made to identify or detect a certain size of this green spot. And if it met this size criteria, it was characterized as a crop plant. And with this information, it was possible to move a weeding device, a mechanical weeding device, in and out of the crop row, as illustrated here. And this has worked well for transplanted lettuce and cabbages and several other transplants where you have enough spacing between the crop plants to operate such a mechanical weeding device. At the moment, we have around 6 automated inter-row weeders on the European market. And I have marked 2 in red, which I will focus a little bit more on here in this talk. The RoboVator, which is vision based, and then the Farm Droid, which is GPS based. Because as I said, with transplants, the first generation of the automated weeders worked nicely because you had a very clear contrast between the crop plants and weed plants, as well as the soil surface. So it was not very difficult to detect the transplants. However, in a seeded situation where you have sown the crop, then it can become much more challenging for the vision technology to detect the crop plant. This should have been a sugar beet field, but as you can see, it's very weedy and it's very difficult to detect each individual crop plant. And the first generation of the vision-based technologies would fail in such a situation because they're not able to discriminate the sugar beet plants from the wheat plants. You can see I have encircled here the sugar beet plants standing in a very dense stand of different weed species. So to solve this problem, we need, or the companies behind these technologies, they move to the artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies to be able to solve this challenge, or to meet this challenge. And one of the companies that I'm collaborating with have sent me these photos to illustrate how well this software is capable of detecting sugar beet plants. On these two photos, you see sugar beet plants. On the left hand side, you see the film of the row of sugar beet plants. In the middle, you see how the software has detected the sugar beet plants and identified the center of the sugar beet plants by these purple dots. On the right hand side, you see a heat map which shows the probability that it's actually a sugar beet plant that has been detected. So the more red and clear the dot, the more likely it is that it's a sugar beet plant. But this technology is capable of detecting the sugar beet plants even in very weedy situation. As you can see, especially here on the right hand side photo, where it's remarkable that the software can detect the sugar beet plants despite the very high weed pressure. And I have a small video here show how well this technology now can provide inter-row weeding, automated inter-row weeding in sugar beets. And this video is actually, I think now 2 or 3 years old. So if we took a video maybe next growing season, you will see something that is even better. They keep improving the technology. So this video is from a very weedy sugar beet field. Okay, but as I said, there is also other solution. There is the GPS-based farm droid. You may have heard about that. It's a machine that is operated completely autonomously. It's powered by solar panels charging 2 batteries. You can add a power bank to it to assist or to ensure that you have enough electricity for operating the tool. The whole the secret behind this machine is that it detects every single crop seed that is seeded. So the machine both seeds the crop and subsequently weed the crop. So by detecting each crop seed, it has the information to revisit the field and refine every single crop plant that hopefully has emerged. And the precision is now down to just 8 millimeters, according to the company behind FarmDroid. As I said, it seeds the crop and subsequently weeds it based on the seed map that it has created during seeding. So the weeding is based on expected crop plant establishment. So if a crop plant doesn't emerge or a seed doesn't germinate, of course there will be a hole in the field because the machine still expects a crop plant to stand in that position. But if there is no crop, there is no competition. So of course you may have these spots in the field with weeds because there is no crop to compete with the weeds that will eventually germinate. But since it's expected on, or since it is based on the knowledge on the position of each crop seed, it's possible to conduct blind cultivation, which is an advantage over the vision-based solutions. This is some of the information associated with the FarmDroid. You need as a minimum 10 to 12 centimeters between crop plants in the crop line. The basic machine is still quite pricey. You should expect around $100,000 for a machine that can both seed and weed. It has a working width of just 3 meters. So depending on the interrow space, it will operate from something like 4 to and up to 12 rows. 12 rows is actually possible, but then you have relatively small interrow spaces. But it can run round the clock. So when you just have set it to go in the field, it can run day and night. So, and as a rule of thumb, the growers say that it can treat around 20 hectares. Some say up to 30 hectares of sugar beets per season. Move to the next slide. Here is a video from Onions in Group where it's operating. As you can see, it attacks the rows from one side. That means you need to turn around and come back and weed from the other side as well to make sure that you get a full coverage of the interrow area. But I think they have improved the weeding operation a lot from the first generations of the FarmDroid. Let's move here. I have interviewed some of the growers here in Denmark who use the FarmDroid, and as they say, the work rate is an issue. 3 meter wide, treating 6 rows when it's we talk about the beets is a challenge because it limits how many hectares you can grow. However, as they say, one of the benefits is that it can run round the clock. So it has, of course, a very slow forward speed, but it also means that seeding becomes very precise because of this slow forward speed, and there is no dust associated with seeding and weeding, which actually means that you can mount or apply spot spraying in conjunction with the weeding operation. I'll come back to that. There is no weed removal within a radius of 2 to 3 centimeters around the crop plant. So this is still something we need to deal with. As I said, you need to weed from 2 directions, and normally it's recommended to begin with the seeding direction. Weeding effectiveness declined rapidly when weeds grow bigger. And there is need for surveillance, and to assist the surveillance, there is an alert app on the cell phone. So if something happens with the FarmDroid, the farmer is alerted. But the company also offer an online support from a care center. So they try to fix the problem for the grower. So the grower doesn't have to go and check the machine. It does not necessarily always work with this online support, and in those cases they will call the grower and ask them to go and get the machine going. What they also say, the grower, is that the best result is achieved when you visit the FarmDroid and try to optimize the settings of the hoe blades. It's important to make sure that it keeps weeding as good as possible. So you cannot just leave it completely. As I said before, it may stop, but the weeding effectiveness may also decline because soil condition change or the slope of the field change or whatever. And as I said, there is a challenge with the weeds growing in close proximity to the crop plants. This is a onion cluster, and here you can see a small weed plant, which is a fat hen, growing very close to the onion plant. And there is this zone around the crop plants where you cannot operate these mechanical weeding solutions because there is a high risk of damaging the crop plants. And a weed plant like this one would continue to grow and finally suppress the growth of the onions, because onions have very little competitive ability. Sugar beets have some more competitive ability, but still they will also suffer from competition from wheat plants growing in close proximity. Actually, we made a competition study to see um, how different crop species were responding to this untreated zone around each crop plant. And as you can see, onions are very sensitive. They do not allow any competition from weeds that have survived automated inter-row weeding, whereas a crop plant like cabbage has far more competition. And actually, there is no need to weed within a radius of 2 centimeters around cabbage plants. So that's good information for the growers, that they can rely entirely on their automated weeder if they can weed as close as 2 centimeters from the center of the crop plants. Since this, based on this competition studies, we try to change the adjustment of the automated inter-row weeders to make them go even closer to the crop plants, to see how much we could actually get rid of without damaging the crop plants. And we did that both in lettuce and in sugar beets. And as you can see, we are very close to each lettuce plant. We're actually touching each lettuce plant. And it turned actually it showed that we were actually able to remove practically all the wheat plants in the interrow, or in this zone close to the crop plants. And the lettuce plants were not damaged significantly. They recovered from this treatment. With sugar beet plants, we were able to remove up to 75% by going even closer to the sugar beet plants, as also closer than the company would recommend. And I have a video showing it here. As you can see, we are very close to the sugar beet plants to minimize this untreated zone around. Another way to get rid of these wheat plants growing in close proximity is to use flame weeding instead of a mechanical weeding device. And the one machine that is based on vision technology, the Robovator, they are working on the flame weeding solution. As you can see here, we are testing the tolerance of sugar beet plants, how well they can tolerate the flame weeding treatment. Because when you don't touch the soil, you are not creating this movement as a mechanical weeding device would do. This moving through the soil, which can damage the crop plants. With the farm droid, they are working on a solution for spot spraying. So they will mount a nozzle on their farm droid to spray just at the point where the crop plant is growing, to get rid of these weeds growing in close proximity to the crop plants. Of course, this solution will only work for organic growers in situations where a liquid compound may be allowed for organic use. But for a conventional grower, this system could be quite interesting because your pesticide consumption will drop dramatically with a farm droid where most of the weeds are controlled mechanically and you're only applying a herbicide in this specific area surrounding each crop plant. I also have to mention that all these automated inter-row weeders, they also conduct inter-row hoeing while they are conducting intra-row weeding. So you do both operations in the same pass. Yeah, this was to give you an overview of the technologies that we have been working with here in recent years, and we think that has improved weeding solutions for organic growers. I think especially the GPS technology and the vision technology has meant a big step forward for mechanical weed control, but also the camera guided steerage hose is also an important tool for many organic growers. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bo, for this presentation. You showed us a wide range of possibilities. It was a lot of interesting information and some jaw-dropping videos like the vision-based weeding one. So I want to open the floor to questions, comments, experiences you want to share. Yes, we have a hand. Udo Prince. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Hello, Bo. Here from Holland. I was wondering, oh, my camera is doing funny stuff. Because you mentioned at the end the spot spraying or the flame weeding, but I've seen a couple of these robots that using laser technology to very precisely burn out the weeds that are very close to the crops that you want to spare. Have you any experience with that?
I have not worked myself with the laser technology. I know that this work is going on, and as you said, a laser beam can be very precise. However, laser beams are very sensitive to obstacles. So whatever may interrupt the laser beam will mean that efficacy will go down immediately. So if there are leaves, stones, or clots or whatever that interrupts the beam line, you are in trouble. That's one of the drawbacks I've heard about the laser technology. But so this needs to be solved for the moment. I think the flames can also be quite precise. They are, however, more sensitive to wind, to crosswinds and things like that. So that's also something that need to be solved. I don't know about the energy consumption for the laser beam, but I can imagine that it's still relatively high. So to my knowledge, there is no commercial laser-based weeding tool on the European market for the moment. I may be wrong, but I think there is one in the US. But that's a machine where you have a lot of spacing in between each crop plant, and you have
I've seen a UK machine, but I'm not quite sure. Probably not commercially available yet. Working that way, and I think there's a Dutch one as well that works with lasers as well.
Okay, yeah, I know the Stickity is also a Dutch machine, but from what I have seen is that it's it's still based on a mechanical weeding device. So, but for sure, let's see how it evolves with the laser solution.
Cool. More questions? There are no more questions. Well then, thank you, Bo, for your talk. We can move on to the next talk now.
Yes, thank you.
And yes, I will introduce Bart Piskorski. Sorry, I forgot to ask you how you pronounce your last name. But Bart is an experienced organic farmer and speaker, the founder of Organic Center in Central Poland, aiming to support both organic and sustainable farms, so-called fusion farms, with knowledge and practice. Bart, could you explain what fusion farms is? And then I let you do your talk. You're muted. Yes.
Hello. Do you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but I am in a hotel room because I have a live presentation today for Polish farmer. I bad signal. I hope you understand me. Do you hear me good? Okay. My presentation?
Yes. Can you hear me, Bart?
Yes.
Could you clarify what fusion farms means while I put up your presentation?
Wait. Wait. Because I bad signal and don't understand. Please upload my presentation.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. Thanks.
Can you see the full screen?
Yes. Okay. Full screen.
All right. So the floor is yours.
Okay. But you next slide you put button, but
Yeah.
I don't control with my presentation. I don't control.
Yeah, here. You can just let me know when you want to pass this.
I don't have
slide.
control. You
Okay.
change. Yes, you change.
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay. Preview slide, please. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Again, this is my first webinar in English. Sorry for my not precise English. I hope that I handle it. Okay, start. I am very happy. Okay, I'm an organic farmer from Poland. When I started organic farming, I had a very problem with needs. I had imprecise tools which worked inefficiently. Today, I have very precise tools that work with high effectiveness. Please, next slide. Yes, the development of technology. This is very important because huge progressive mechanical weight control has occurred in recent years. After many years testing, vision on a GPS system have achieved a level of high effectiveness. This advancement enables tools to operate with high precision and high speeds. This high speed is most important because it is very effectiveness. Okay, the lack of precise and fast work was a big problem for organic farmers. Without this system, organic farmers hired additional people to work. Employing people is a big problem nowadays. Please, next slide. Okay. Mechanical weight control can be divided into two types. On the left, contiguous weeders work the whole field. For example, tiny weeder. On the right, in contiguous weeder, differentiated action. For example, row crop cultivator. Okay, please, next slide. Okay. Contiguous weeders work the entire field surface. For example, a classic tiny weeder can work in most crop in the appropriate stage of the plant. Most often it is used for cereals, corn, soybean. It must work at a depth of about 2 centimeters so as not to damage the main plant. It is very important. The condition for using this is the appropriate stage of the plant. Okay, please, next slide. Okay, this video shows bad work because tiny weeder has a bad construction. The operating speed of the machine should be high when the tiny weeder works at high speed. Its operation should be stable. You look on the video. This tiny weeder jumps. This is very bad solution. The tines don't work or too deep work. When tines too deep work, the main plant is destroyed. In this place, tines don't work, and that place tines work too deep. I hope you look this place on the left. In this place, tines don't work. On the right, tines work too deep. This is very bad because destroyed the main plant. Okay, please next. Please next slide. Okay, this video shows good work because tiny weeder work stably. Please. Okay. the machine does jumps. The tines work at the appropriate depth. It is a good construction because not jumps. Work only tines. Okay, please next slide. Okay, effective operation because of the narrow line spacing. It is very important. Please next slide. Okay. The best of tine widder is precision tine widder. Every tine has an individual pressure system. It is very interesting tine widder. Please next slide. Okay, in this graphic you can see the individual pressure system. Every tine works with the some pressure value. It's very precise system. This machine is very good for vegetables, for example, potatoes, cereals, corn, soybean. It is new technology, very good new technology. Okay, please next slide. You look on video, at video. Please play. This is precise work. It is very good work. Okay. Please next slide. Okay, it is my favorite. The machine is rotation widder. It is very effectiveness because rotation causes widths to be torn upwards. The widths fall to the ground and dry. You look on the left graphics. Rotation widder works between the plants in the row. It is most important. It is very important. Sorry, it is very important because the match widths very effective. Okay, please next slide. Yes, please play. It is soybean. This is work very effective. We work at a depth of 2 centimeters. Very precision and very fast work. Okay. Please, next slide. Okay. Video. Okay. Incontiguous withers have gaps for the crop to pass through. The interrow hoe is the classic example of this type of machine, where the interrow space is vigorously hoed while the crop row is attached. Okay, please, next slide. Okay, intelligent row crop cultivation. A good and modern example is intelligent row crop cultivation. The camera steering system steers the hoe with absolutely precision along the crops via side shift frame. And this guarantees precision, precise and close work of the hoe even at high speed and will relieve the driver. Even with very small plants as well as in different color or with heavy weeds. The camera steering system in organic and conventional cultivation brings increased precision. Okay, please, next slide. It is a very good video. You look at the video. The tools work very close to the plant. Very close to the plant. The operation of the working tools is very shallow. The main plant is not damaged. The farmer can work at a speed of up to 20 kilometers per hour. It is very, very fast work. Okay, please, next slide. This video is very interesting because it is possible to work in a no-till system. No-till system is very interesting for farmer. Okay. Please, next slide. It is possible to hoeing cereals. Please start video. This is additional camera. Okay. You look seeding at 25 spacing. It is modern trends in Europe farming. Look on the video. It is a camera with a lamp LEDs which we can work in the night. Okay. It's infographic. You can see additional elements for a row crop cultivator. It is rotation element and finger hoe element. When we work without the additional elements, we grow between the plants in the row. You look on the left graphic. This is place without additional elements. In the middle is finger hoe. On the right is rotation elements. Please, next slide. Another graphic. In this graphic, you see these elements. In the middle is very good. Finger hoe is very good element for soybean, corn. It is very important. Okay, please, next graphic. In this graphic, how not to work and how to work correctly. You look on the left. This plant is destroyed. On the right is correctly. It is most. It is very important. It is very important information. Okay, please, next graphic. Next graphic, how not to work and how to work correctly. This is work from the right angle. It is also very important information. Okay, please, next. You look at video. It is section control system. Please start. This system supports with control on the headlands. This is a good solution. You look on the video. Every section individual up. It is a very precision solution. It is a solution for big farms. Good, very good. Okay, please, next slide. When we weed without the section control, weeds will be grow in this place. When we weed without the section control system, the main plant will be destroyed. Another place, please, next slide. Please, next slide. Preview slide, preview. Okay, this slide is very important because without the system section control, the main plant will be destroyed in this place. Okay, please next slide. Okay, a good solution is the install a seeder on a weeder. This enables effective seeding intercrops, catch crops and fertilizer. Seeding catch crops reduce weeds. Okay, it is a deflector plate. Please, next slide. Please, next. Okay. The photo shows catch crops during the harvest per year. Okay. A good solution is the install front tank for liquids, the application of biological substitutes. It is a new trend in Europe farming. Please, next. Okay. Buns plier. Okay, next, please, slide. It is a very important graphic. You can see in this graphics that the work should be shallow. Don't lower the water level. On the left, plants is in good condition. On the right, plants in bad condition. It is very important. Okay, summation, knowledge when and how to use. The most important treatment before emergence. This moment only weeding from at least to lift weeding and hoeing. Okay, please, next slide. First, basic treatment before emergence, only weeding. Please, next slide. The second basic treatment from at least to the lift, weeding and hoeing at this moment. Okay, please, next slide. Third, basic treatment, weeding and hoeing. This should be done when the next weeds appear. Okay, please, next slide. It is my soybean in the middle of vegetation. 3 treatments to this moment. Okay, please, next slide. Okay. Before harvest, 6 treatments to this moment. The numbers of treatments depends on the weather. Maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 treatment in soybean plant. Okay, next slide, please. finished. Modern technical solution allow farmers to reduce or completely eliminate herbicides. Thank you attention. I'm sorry for my not precise English. I hope you understand me. Next information, cultivation in my organic farm, serious oil plant, soybean. The most problem in my organic farm is I don't have animals. I have problem with good fertilizer. I must buy many fertilizer. It is my big problem in my organic farm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bart. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes, but I have lags.
Okay.
Try.
Thank you for the presentation. I think the best thing, and I've seen some people who have already started asking questions, is to write the questions on the chat so that Bart can read them, since he has this signal problem. But I will read them out loud for everybody to be aware of the question. So I'm going to start with Maria's question. How many farmers use these devices in Denmark? I think you're asking that to Bo.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think with what I have heard is that there is around 30 units operating in Denmark. So, and I think
he already answered.
Yeah, and I think that I have heard that the company FarmDroid until now has sold 400 units in total, mainly to the European market. I know the vision-based one that I showed you, I think they are close to, I know they have sold more than 50 machines. Some of them have went to the American market, especially California, for the lettuce growers. So I think he maybe total is around 60 to 70 machines. So I don't know about the other ones, the Stegete and the Ferrari and the Robocrop from the UK. I don't know how many they have sold, but that's probably at least the same figures or even more than the Robovator. But I think at the moment the FarmDroid is the most sold automated intra-row weeder on the market. That's at least what they say themselves. So.
All right, thank you. A question for Bo and Bart. Which weeding system is less invasive for soil? Is it flame weeding, perhaps? So we can start with Bo.
Yeah, I think compared to the tillage, yes, because the flames, the heat is not penetrating the soil at all. Essentially, we just talk about a very few millimeters, maybe 2 millimeters. They have actually measured that. So heat penetration into the soil is negligible. So it only affects what it hits. So of course, if you're hitting some insects or worms or whatever, they may be damaged, but it's still so little because the flames are targeted very precisely. That's the aim, at least, to target them very precisely.
Bart, do you want to answer?
In my opinion, it's a solution with my presentation. No intensive for soil because we work very shallow. It is very good for soil. 2 centimeters, it's no destroyed soil. Flame wedding. I don't like, in my opinion. I don't know about biological soil. This solution, in my opinion, no good.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I think with the flame weeding here, I'm not talking about the full width flame weeding. Of course, that have some drawbacks. If you flame weed the entire surface, the flame weeding I'm talking about is the very precise one where you only flame weed in the rows, in the crop line of row crops, and that limits the surface area on which you are applying the flames. So you are essentially affecting a very limited amount of the surface area. Whereas with tillage, there is a lot of people who believe that you are burning away the soil organic matter content, and you are affecting the microorganisms and the worms and the rodents and whatever is living in the soil. So there is both pros and cons, I think, with both methods.
Yeah, exactly. I was also thinking about the microorganisms in the soil. Yes, another question, I think this one is for Bart. Has the fuel used on these engines any effect on crops, especially conducted on organic farming? So the fuel of the engines that you were presenting, Bart.
Okay, wait.
I can send the question again in the chat.
Okay. I read. I'm reading. Okay. Maybe. Okay, I have a problem with Siriusm. You know, I chat, write chat. I have a problem with this width, but it is problem in my soil because my soil is very hard. Okay, wait. Problem.
Bart, did you see the question, the last question I typed?
Okay.
The last one.
Okay. In no-till technology, I will be testing in the future because at this moment I plug. In the future, it is technology will be very help you for soil. But at this moment, I don't have good. Wait. Experience. Oh, I don't good experience. Okay. Next. Next question.
Okay. How big is the farm?
My farm is 33 hectares.
Yeah.
Yes, I write on chat.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Question about fall. Okay. On the fall, use it on the engines effect on crops. Yes, it is a very problem, but at this moment we don't have another falls. Yes, the tractors. Maybe in the future tractors on energy will be good, but at this moment I have tractors on diesel.
Yeah, so now you were responding to the question about fuel's effect on crops.
Factors on crops.
Yeah, the one that you just answered. I'm just clarifying for the audience. Sorry, somebody needs to mute themselves. Okay. Bart, do you find the good working time? Wait, do you find the good working time, so days with dry soil, in your context? Is it an issue in your farm to find a good time for soil and plant to enter with the weeder in all your fields?
Okay. Yes, I have a problem because last years we don't rain. Dry is very problem. With good treatment weather. When it's rain, we treatment we work sorry after rain we work 3 days 4 days in spring but last month I don't I can't work because we have many rain. It is very problem for mechanical with control. Okay, maybe.
Thank you.
I sent on email very precise answer. For me, will be better.
Okay. Yeah, we can gather all the questions from the chat, and then you, Bart, and even Bo, if you want, you can give more detailed answers, and we can share them with the participants. But it's
yes.
It's great, Bart. Thank you so much for making the effort
Thank you very much.
and giving a presentation despite the language barrier. I think we are all very grateful for that. There is another question. Do you know where we can find experience in regenerative organic crops, no-till with service crops and irrigation equipment?
I would like to invite everyone to my organic farm because I have a demo farm. Maybe in the future we come to me. Maybe I will better speak English. At this moment, it's. But but I think in the future I better speak English.
It's okay.
I prefer live meeting.
Yeah, of course. Bo, would you like to answer this question maybe? It's the last question on the chat.
Last question on the chat.
Do you know where we can find experience in regenerative organic crops, no-till with service crops and irrigation equipment?
That's the short answer. No. I'm personally very skeptic about weed management in regenerative farming. Essentially, you cannot till the soil. You are so dependent on flame weeding, laser, maybe. These kind of technologies might be relevant, but apart from that, you need to benefit on living mulches, dead mulches, and so forth, if it has to live up to the principles of regenerative farming. I think there's a lot of research we need to make in this system before we can come up with some relevant solutions.
Okay.
I still think that the people working with regenerative farming, they still have great difficulties defining what it is actually. It's still a big black box. I think there's many interpretations of this way of farming, and there's no clear definition yet.
Yeah, exactly. There is no agreed upon definition.
Very vague.
Okay. I don't know if I have brought up all the questions in the chat. I'm sorry, I was trying to focus on communicating what questions Bart needed to answer. So if anybody feels like, yeah, they haven't gotten an answer or they want to ask more, yeah, please just unmute yourself or type on the chat. Otherwise, yeah, maybe we can wrap up. And I see no more hands or questions. Great. Well, I was also happy to see that there was a little bit of discussion between the two speakers. So I'm very happy that we gathered here together and we shared our experiences and asked questions. So thank you, all of you, for participating. Special thanks to Bart and Bo for presenting and sharing their knowledge. And yeah, I hope to see you again soon. I mean, especially people from IPMWORKS and people from IFOAM I will be seeing very soon. And yeah, I will stop the recording now. This is, there we go.